Hey, good morning. It's Fort Worth Playboy, and this is the Fort Worth Playboy Morning Show. I think we're a couple minutes early, and I'm glad you're here. What do we talk about here on the morning show? We talk about game, pickup, relationships, and sex. Um, and we talk about more of the tactical side of game, and we fall under the umbrella of the red pill. The red pill being MGTOW and men's rights activists, anything to do with sexual interaction, the social dynamics of it, psychology, economics, any of the big picture stuff between basically sometimes the war of the sexes. And we fall under that umbrella, and we're in our own little world of tactical ability, charisma. I mean, game is defined as learn charisma. And so a lot of guys show up with a little bit of charisma, and we can enhance that and increase their skill set. And then some guys are unfortunately a little bit of this is what you're born with or exposed to earlier on. And we can help you. The thing is, it's just like the two words that are in there. It can be learned. It can be taught, and it can be absorbed, and it can be practiced. When it comes to game, I always try to convey learning. Game is a lot like training in the weight room. You know, it's a matter of consistency and getting in and putting in the reps over and over. Will make you stronger and quicker and faster and better at your craft. So we always start off with a maxim, and today we start off with maxim number 40. No, I'm sorry, number 12. Yesterday was such a clusterfuck. I don't want it to be a clusterfuck today. So, maxim number 12. If you're comfortable with your game being splashed across a jumbotron for thousands of people to read, then you're doing it right. This is Chateau Hartis. Good morning, Bunny. This is a foundational. This is a foundational maxim that is used in different forms by a lot of coaches, a lot of the guys that are pickup artists, and it really is what they call the Jumbotron rule. And the Jumbotron rule is when you text a girl, if you would be comfortable with that text going up on a Jumbotron, say at the Super Bowl or at a pro sports event, and your friend's reading this, would you be comfortable with that? And if not, then you probably should not send it. It's like Chateau said, when people read your text, should they read your text? What the sense you want them to gain is they read the interaction between you and some girl and they go, I bet that guy gets laid a lot. That's the reaction you want, not like, oh my God, I'm embarrassed for him. And you see it all the time. And you need to realize that girls are sharing screenshots of your interactions. Now, I'm not telling you this to make you gun shy or to fuck up your text game or to make you paranoid, but that is how you should see anything you send electronically in written word, pictures, or God help me, you send emojis, which I don't recommend. She is going to show it to friends. And depending on the girl, some of them are pretty ruthless. No matter how good-natured you are or the good intent, it gets shared and it may come back around and haunt you. So if you text from today going forward, and always keep in mind the Jumbotron rule, you will do better. You will find that your texts are better received. And there's certain what we call like alpha text rules, because what I like about texting, and I was talking to a gentleman yesterday about this, he kind of struggles with texting. If he likes a girl, he starts texting more and more and being more effusive and using more emojis and, can't get off the phone when this is actually a very bad thing. You can't really get to know somebody through the phone. You want to, and like we always say in the beginning, especially before you meet a girl, the phone is for logistics only. You want to only use it to get to know them, a little banter back and forth, and then set up a meetup. Women are stronger online. Before she's met you, she's looking for a reason to not fuck you. And every word you type, every sentence, every exchange is a chance for you to step on your dick and give her a reason not to fuck you. Once she meets you, once you get in front of her, men are more effective in person. You have your presence, your charm, your charisma, you're fun to be around. You've got her attention. Again, when she's on the phone, there's 10 things going on and you're one of them. And when she's in front of you, there's one thing going on. She's thinking about herself a lot because women are like that. And she's also thinking about you. So there's really just two things going on. So once you start having sex, no matter what you send, generally, guys will start they start dropping their guard. They start dropping their rules once they start having sex, and they kind of like run her off. Remember, you can't get to know her on the phone. So even after sex starts, you still want to keep that texting to a minimum. You meet up, you guys bang first date or second date. In a couple days, you reach back out and go, hey, I had a great time. Or she reaches out to you and you go, hey, I had a great time. Why don't we meet up, da, da, da. And then you set up the next meetup where you have sex. Again, this is the whole engagement. This is how it works. And then you pick up steam. And the simple text rules, and I'll share these, and I should have put them up, but it's like 5 very simple rules. If you follow it, the chances of you fucking up your text game is very small. You have to start working hard at it. So number 1 is no emojis. Guys go, oh, girls under 25. No, that's them. The biggest problem that I had this is with guys who have teenage daughters that they have to text back and forth because he starts picking up her habits, which is lots of emojis and very, lighthearted, but it's his kid. So when you're dealing with women, no emojis. Just make rules for yourself. No emojis. An emoji is an emotional icon. And generally, again, the research shows women are more attracted to men that they're not sure of his feelings for her. So the fewer feelings you can project, even through an emoji, the better. No emojis, no punctuation. It really messes with guys. But the good thing, like one of the coaching clients I was speaking to yesterday, he realized that even in business, as you climb the ladder, the higher you get in the rank structure, the less punctuation is used. Punctuation is very much a plebeian or a, worker bee type of thing where everything has to be perfect. And, every comma, every I should be dotted, all that. But once you hit like CEO, they might just use a subject line to send hey, meeting at 4:00. And it's just like MTG 4:00. And that's how they communicate. They have less time and less interest in what people think. And that's also what you want to convey. No double texting. Like if she doesn't respond, just leave it there. Leave it there as long as it takes for her to respond. No good morning or good night text. Just get rid of it and you will get, and we pretty much go, well, yeah, of course. But most men do this and they do it like really early. Like they'll meet a girl and you talk to enough girls after the first date. It's like, good morning, beautiful. Good night. Sleep well. I mean, it's this very familiar stuff with women that they don't even really know. And it makes women uncomfortable, which is okay. It's okay to make women uncomfortable, but not in this sense. This is one of those overly familiar, you're trying to force like romance relationship stuff on girls you barely know. And it makes everybody other than the guys that don't know any better uncomfortable. And then say less than her. Again, we always use the golden rule of 2/3. For every three anything that a girl gives, you respond with 2. For every 3 words, you respond with 2. And Bunny says this, even that seems like a little bit much. It should be more like 3 to 1. So when you look at texting between an alpha and a girl that he is creating attraction with, you'll see larger blocks of typing on her side and 2 or 3 words on his side. And then she'll start being more effusive again. And it's just what you see. You see that there'll be less. And again, this is where less is more when it comes to game. And it really applies to text game. Less is more. The less you type and the more she types, the better. I mean, girls can't be overly, forward when it comes to this stuff, but you can. Again, the Jumbotron rule is your rule of thumb. Before you send a text, say, would I want my friends, family, coworkers, her friends to see this text? Because most likely her friends are definitely going to see the text. So if you would be embarrassed by it, don't send it. Slim it down, edit it down. You want to say, it's almost like when we used to not be able to tweet except for like 52 characters or whatever our limitations were when Twitter first started. It forced you to like get everything within a couple words, like 2 or 3 sentences. And so you may want to learn how to do that or relearn how to do that when it comes to texting. Say as much as you can, but get it pared down to as few of words as possible. Again, maxim number 12. If you're comfortable with your game being splashed across the Jumbotron for thousands of people to read, then you're doing it right. And that's how you do it. Keep the alpha text rules in mind, and you should not step on your dick. It's as simple as that. So that's the real deal. And if you need help with this, you can go to fortworthplayboy.gumroad.com. Basic training 1 and 2 has all the alpha text rules. It has how you should be texting. How it gives you openers, scripts for opening on online dating and also in person. So a lot of this is just using pre-approved, pre-used openers and scripts to get her talking. And again, you can always test things out. And then over time, as you lay down a foundation, you can expand on it by adding your own. And that's what a lot of guys do. Lines, and one of Chateau's maxims is, lines are used to get you to the point where you can kind of create your own lines. And you will over time. But a lot of times guys are like, I don't know what to say. Well, in basic training 1 and 2, I give you exactly what to say, especially in the beginning. And again, guys will go, oh, you think she's heard it before? No. And if she did, she forgot, because there's just not that many guys that know what we know. We think everyone knows it, but really, in fact, no one knows it. It's just us. So that's the real deal when it comes to texting. And texting is, what I like about the text game is it's learnable. Is all you have to do is follow some basic rules and your text game will improve. It's not like conversation, which is a little bit trickier, or reading IOIs or indicators of interest. It's very black and white. So that's the real deal. High sex drive tells. Not sex positive, not we had a wild weekend on vacation. High sex drive women. And again, there's high sex drive women and there's sex positive women, and they're not always the same thing. Your high sex drive women can have enough bad experiences that they still have a high sex drive, but they're kind of like down on sex. They're not sex positive. But what you're looking for and what we're talking about today is both high sex drive and sex positive women. And there's not a lot of them out there, because a high sex drive woman is very much like a natural athlete. There's going to be certain things that she kind of has to show. Everything has to come together. She has to be genetically predisposed to it. She has to be somewhat physically fit. I've never seen a girl that's like out of shape with a high sex drive. Again, when you're in shape, you do feel better. You have to be brought up in an environment that isn't out of control. It gives you some guardrails, and you think that this would be the opposite, but it gives girls some safety and they don't get ran through early on. Because they have a high sex drive, they tend to experiment more, but they can also start having bad experiences. And too many bad experiences ruin a girl. She becomes very negative, and down on things. So she won't actually explore things. So there's all kinds of things. She has to be in the right environment where she can kind of experiment. And all these things have to come together, and you end up with a high sex drive girl. But generally, there are certain tells, number one being bisexual. And research has shown that girls that tend to identify as bisexual and truly not like pillow princesses, or, they do it for the camera, for attention when they're in college, but are truly compelled to be with women as much as men, not bi-curious, like I said, picking girls up, experimenting, toys, fisting, the whole 9 yards. Girls that are truly hardcore bisexual will tend to have a higher sex drive. It's not complete, but this is a tell. And one of the guys responded to me just yesterday that he had ran into a girl that ended up being bisexual and is pretty much on all the time. 2, this is where the natural inclination, the natural abilities come in. Multi-orgasm, easy to climax. Your girls that pretty much you can show up and they have orgasm through penetration, through clitoral stimulation, through nipple stimulation. They're just very easily orgasmic, as opposed to your girls that are like, and they'll have multiple orgasms as well. Because this feeds into wanting to do this more often, as opposed to your girl that, like, it takes her 30 minutes. She has to have the vibrator just right. You can't be making any noise. The windows have to be closed. Girls that are there's a stipulation. Everything has to be just right. And they're one and done, which we've seen before. And then they're rolling off the bed. It's not conducive to someone who has high sex drive. High sex drive is going to be somebody that it just kind of comes easy. Literally, they come easily. Multiple orgasms and easy to climax. No holes barred. Generally, you'll see there's 3-hole girls. Everything is a go. As long as you don't ruin it for them by being overly aggressive, like on the back door, she will be open to always being open to anything you'd like to do. She has a very high disgust threshold. And as girls get turned on, their disgust threshold goes up, which is one of the reasons they can't talk about sex when they're not turned on, because it will throw them. Their disgust threshold, as they become more aroused, goes up. They're able to stand more things that would actually kind of gross them out if they weren't aroused, will not gross them out when they are aroused and in that environment. So you will find girls that can do more and it doesn't bother them. And high sex drive girls tend to have a very high disgust threshold. Always on, they never decline sex. You're just not going to find it, no matter what. You're talking about hours or days after giving birth. They're it's blowjobs, hand jobs, whatever they can physically do. And most women are mortified by this whole thing. Again, this is why they're high sex drive girls, and there's not a lot of them. Again, they are always on. Flu, accidents, they've been up for 36 hours, you name it. They're always open to suggestion. Pics, videos, anytime, anywhere. And this is just one of those weird things where, again, I guess it may fall under the high disgust threshold. Is pretty much they're okay with this stuff rolling, and they'll watch some of it. I mean, again, there's girls, when you do pictures and videos with girls, and I always, guys are interested in this, I say most of the time the girls will not want to watch it with you. They just don't want to see themselves. Most high sex drive girls are pretty visually stimulated, much like men, which is why they tend to be more high sex drive. And so they'll go with pretty much any pics and videos, anytime, anywhere. They're just down with it. It just seems to work. So those are the things that you can look for when you're if you are looking for a high sex drive girl. Again, it's almost like trying to find natural athletes. There's going to be a genetic, an environment, and a background and component that kind of brings it all together. So there's not a lot of them. They kind of all have to be like, there has to be certain things in the right place at the right time, for them to make it into adulthood and retain that high sex drive and that willing to experiment. So that's the real deal on high sex drive tells. Bunny and I may cover that a little bit more on Thursday. It's always good to hear her, because she is the sex expert on, and this list was compiled between her and I, on what works, what doesn't work, especially when it comes to high sex drive girls. And a lot of guys go, I thought I wanted that, but then I got it and it's exhausting. So you kind of have to know yourself. And some guys are like, I don't want to have anything to do with that. I want something that I kind of control, because you're going to have sex that you don't initiate necessarily, with high sex drive girls, and you got to be there. It's a daily thing. So just take that into consideration. Excuse me. Next slide. You can best evaluate and judge a girl's suitability for a long-term relationship when you're dating a lot of girls at once. Comparing and contrasting while living in sexual abundance keeps your mind sharp. This is why girls hate for men to run rotations, but will gladly jump into one for fun. You have to realize that spinning plates, running a rotation, having a harem, all these things where basically you run multiple girls, and these girls are not necessarily loyal to you, and that's just part of the deal. It's easier if you're seeing 3 or 4 girls to find one that is high quality. Like we say, in like my book, How to Build a Rotation, which you can find it for playboy.gumroad.com, How to Build a Rotation. You can categorize each girl that kind of comes into your rotation. And I show you in the book how to get them locked into the rotation. You're going to have fuck buddies. You're going to have friends with benefits. You're going to have girlfriend candidates, and you're going to have different rules of engagement with each category. And that helps you manage their expectations, how you manage them. And it makes life easier. And you have different girls for different needs, or if they show you a positive personality, if they become someone that you would like to move up in the ranking. She almost all start with as fuck buddies, and then you realize pretty quickly, this girl has girlfriend candidate potential, and you just move her up. You might see her more than once a week. She stays over. There's different rules for different categories, and it's all explained in the book. But you can best evaluate and judge a girl's suitability for a long-term relationship when you're dating a lot of women, because it gives you a chance to compare and contrast, and you're not beholden to any one girl. If you're seeing 3 girls, not one can leverage the sex into something that it shouldn't be leveraged for. Like Bunny said, we were talking about one couple, that very Christian couple, and I asked, do you think they had sex before marriage? And she was like, yeah, she probably did, to lock him in. So girls know how important sex is, and they can and will use it as leverage to get you to move in the direction that they want. But it's much harder if you're seeing a lot of other people, and she knows that. It doesn't have as much leverage, if any, because you simply move on to the next girl if she's not available, or she tries to hold out, or use it as a weapon. You're already gone that day. So, and you might even come back around. They might even come back around. So that's the real deal. It gives you a chance to really see girls, and again, you're seeing and getting more experience in less time, because a lot of guys, they're like, I try to compare it to serial monogamy, where you date a girl for 4 weeks, 6 weeks, then she brings up, exclusivity, and you're like, yeah, okay, I don't have anything else going on. So you're exclusive with this girl, and then 6 months later, you're texting her too much, or, she changes her mind, or the wind changes direction and she wanders off with somebody else, or an ex-boyfriend shows back up and she's gone. So now you've invested 8 to 10 months in this girl that's like gone. Whereas you could have done that while dating her and 2 or 3 or 4 other girls at the same time. And then if she wanted to wander off, that was fine. 8 months down the road, she just comes to you and says, hey, I know I usually see you on Thursdays, but I can't anymore because Mike is like starting to ask where the hell I am on Thursdays. So you have to know when you run a rotation, part of it is having your head screwed on and putting the green monster of jealousy to the side and knowing that you're in a unique position. And that's part of the deal. The guys that want to try to run it where they are exclusive to him and he's seeing 4 or 5, never ends well. It just is hard to maintain. There's too much lying, and it really is what gives rotations or spinning plates a bad name. Recognize this as well. What we call spinning plates or running a rotation is simply what girls call dating. They are not, unless they've brought up the conversation of exclusivity to you, they are still seeing other people. But it's usually not brought up because most guys are so self-centered, they can't imagine her actually seeing somebody else when she is. But he never asks, she never tells him. So therefore, he thinks it's just them when it's not. She's already, she's still seeing other people. And then he's caught off guard when she wanders off for a more exclusive relationship with someone else. Again, what we call rotation, girls call it dating or casual dating. So you can use the same language if you'd like. I'm just casually dating. I want to see, have fun and see where things take us. So you can best evaluate if you're looking for a long-term relationship. It's just kind of like driving different cars. You're like, which car do I want? And if you drive 3 to 5, you may have a better picture of what would be best for you. You can best evaluate and judge a girl's suitability for a long-term relationship when you're dating a lot of girls at once. Comparing and contrasting while living in a sexual abundance, which really takes the edge off and takes that deadline away, keeps your mind sharp. That's why girls hate for men to run rotations, but will gladly jump into one for fun. That's the real deal. Let's see, we got time for one more. Maybe 2 more. Okay. No matter how pretty, serious, intelligent, accomplished a girl is, always treat her like nothing more than a silly girl. Stay relaxed, casual, tease, push-pull, string theory, ask questions, ignore her career. Jokes, judge those around you, fuck, marry, kill. That's the game that you play, fuck, marry, kill. Girls just want to have fun. That's especially in the beginning, the first few months. And the more accomplished and the more successful the women that you date, be it success in any manner, they're the greatest mom that ever walked the face of the earth, or they run their own business, or they work with their parents, whatever they're accomplished. I would always say with boss babes, be it an attorney or whatever profession they choose, to ignore that. Don't bring it up because they don't even want to talk about it. When they go out with you, they want to just be a girl. They want to think about girl things, which is like dressing up and going places and having sex. And those are girl things. So I wouldn't bring up her career, and it really does kind of like sour some girls. You can have them out laughing, having fun, and then their career comes up or their job, and then it just nags them out instantaneously. And girls are always basically 18. I don't care if they're 28, 38, 58. They're all basically girls that are teenagers, and that's where it stops. So no matter how impressed you are with their appearance or their accomplishments, they really do default to being girls as fast as possible. And if you can set it up to where they can be girly, they can let go, and they can have fun, they'll keep coming back over and over and over. So just stay relaxed, casual, tease, run your game, ask questions, always, have 5 or 6 open-ended questions. And in my book, How to Build a Dating System, I have like 2 pages of questions that, I mean, I used to have it as a cheat sheet. And if I got stuck on a date and I wasn't sure where to go, I would excuse myself and go to the restroom and find something to open her and get her talking, at the end of the day. And remember, I work with a lot of adult men. So if you get stuck, you're like, what do I talk about? You've ran out of things, or you're like choking. You can always ask her about her kids, and it will buy you time, because women would like nothing more than, it's completely different than career. It's something that they're very enthusiastic about most of the time, as long as they don't have like a problem child that causes them grief. But you can buy time by simply asking about their kids, and they will tell you all about it. And it buys you time to think of other things, or to find another track to follow. And it works. So girls just want to have fun. Keep that in mind, no matter what age they are, no matter if they wear a power suit, no matter what they do for a living. At the end of the day, when they're not working, they want to have fun. They want to be basically like 17 or 18 again. And they will respond to that. And you can find all that and how to build your dating system at fortworthplayboy.gumroad.com. And this is simply, everybody needs lines, because you're going to be getting the same questions. Lines work. That's why we have them. And again, lines work so you can have something to respond with. And then eventually, if it becomes necessary, you can create your own lines. But if a girl smells player on you and starts nosing around about your sexual history, just say, a gentleman never kisses and tells, and change the subject. I never kiss and tell. And it shows, one, it doesn't confirm or deny that you're a player, which you obviously are, or she wouldn't have asked. But it also shows that you're discreet. And girls want discretion. They want to know that they can stay anonymous. They want to know that they can have sex with you and you're not going to tell everyone, that they can protect their reputation. And this stuff is so hardwired. I don't care if they're 20, 30, 40, 50. They want to protect their reputation. And Bunny says she knows, if a girl does smell player on you because you're fun and you're not awkward and she's not bored to death and you're not talking about your fucking job or crypto or some boring to tears subject that most men will talk about, and she's actually entertained and having fun, she knows, especially like when you walk in someplace and everybody knows you, she's like, how many women do you bring here? These things are tells. So she's going to ask, she's going to start nosing around. And she also, it's a shit test. She wants to see your reaction. And always, a gentleman never kisses and tells. And that's just how you respond. And it tells her everything she needs to know, that you are experienced, you're savvy, and you will protect her reputation. And everything that happens between y'all is between you two and not everybody else. Use lines. Memorize them. You will get these questions. You will start hearing the same questions over and over. So the sooner you can have lines set up and memorized, the faster you'll be on the response. And every player that has gone before you has paid the price of going, So we had to go through it so you don't have to. Again, if a girl smells player on you and starts nosing around about your sexual history, a gentleman never kisses and tells. So, and then change the subject to something more interesting. That's a real deal. If you like anything you've seen, you can expand on your knowledge through my books and projects at fortworthplayboy.gumroad.com. If you have a question about sex or online dating or building your confidence quickly, Bunny has the Fuck Like a Porn Star series and the Magic Bullet Online Dating Handbook, all kinds of things to flatten the learning curve and get girls in front of you and naked and in your bed faster at myplayboysbunny.gumroad.com. You can't go wrong. The more you know, the faster you'll go. So if you like this, like it, share it, tell your friends, comment below. I will respond to that. Or on Twitter, I can even respond there. But I hope you guys have a great day.